What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my first Apex Legends video. This is going to be my first Apex Legends video ever since I moved on from Warzone, or at least producing content on Warzone. And we're going to be going over 6 basic tips and tricks that people who like me who are switching from Warzone should probably know and understand before they really get that deep into it. By no means am I an Apex pro. I'm just somebody who's just switched, and for the past week and a half has been playing Apex relentlessly, grinding rank. We started off from bronze 4 in season 10, and now we're at plat 4 in about a week and a half. So to start off with the 6 tips and tricks, number 1, and this could apply to both keyboard and mouse players and controller players, is to lower that sensitivity. In Apex Legends, tracking and having effective tracking is key because there is a much higher time to kill, or TTK, in this game. It's not going to take 7 bullets to knock somebody and another 2 to 3 to get a full kill. This is going to take a full mag, full clip, however you guys want to say it, just to get a knock. And if you're not accurate, it could take more. So one of the best ways to improve tracking, at least immediately until you put some time in on your sensitivity, is to at least lower your sensitivity. For mouse and keyboard players, I know finding a good sensitivity is a little bit more in depth because there's a few more options that you can play with. However, once you do find your setting, stick around with it for a day or two, really get used to it. And once you really get used to it, then you should be able to effectively track your opponents. For tip number 2, solo trioing or taking on a full team by yourself is not exactly an easy thing. My first day on Apex Legends, it was either the first, maybe second day of season 10, and I was just messing around in pubs, trying to get a feel for the game, see what I've missed since it's released. And let me tell you, at first I was like, oh, my team's over there, I see a team in front of me. I was like, I can't really judge the skill level well right now. However, I'm pretty confident. I think I can take these guys. I can take a full trio team by myself in Warzone, no problem. So I should be able to do it in Apex just the same. It's just, what, there's some abilities now? Nah, I got this. Turns out I got absolutely steamrolled. Just the way the game goes. I got hit with a sear, didn't even know what the hell hit me, and next thing you know, I got swarmed. I didn't even know what to do, and I was like, well, this is clearly not play. Solo trailing is not exactly an easy thing. The only people who can really do it, are players that have been putting a lot of time in there at the top of the game, typically. That doesn't mean it's not impossible. It's just, it's going to take a lot more time than Warzone, in my opinion. Listen, before we continue with the rest of these tips and tricks, if you guys do me a favor, if you guys like this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe. I highly appreciate it. We're going to be continuing to put on Apex Legends tips and tricks throughout the rest of the year. So if you like what I'm doing over here, I'd really appreciate it if you do that. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification to make sure you get notifications when all my videos go live, whether it's YouTube videos or YouTube shorts. Most importantly, don't forget to follow me over at twitch.tv/RamosKid_. But we went from bronze 4, the last night we hit plat 4 in about a week of playing. For somebody who's never really played Apex like that, I think that's a pretty accomplishing feat. Now, of course, the struggles are coming, so don't forget to follow me over on Twitch so you can watch me struggle all the way to Apex Predator. All right, to continue the rest of these tips and tricks, number 3 is understanding abilities and what abilities your teammates have. In Apex Legends, everybody can pick one legend, and there's no doubles, or you can't repeat the same legend. So that means there's one set of abilities for that team, and everybody has to accurately or generally be effective at their ability when they're playing the game. Every legend has their own passive ability, which is active at all times. They also have a normal ability, which you can activate when the cooldown has been completed. And every legend has their own ultimate. And they're all different from each other. Some are for recon purposes and for gathering information. Some are for more aggressive plays, and they actually can do damage. Some ultimates are for movement only. So understand what your teammates have for abilities, and make sure you're able to recognize what your opponent's abilities will be depending on what legends they are running. Tip number 4, Apex Legends is a very team-oriented game. There's not too much room for solo stars. As I mentioned before in tip number 2, solos trioing or taking on a full team by yourself is not easy. Don't be upset if you're playing and all of a sudden you have 0 kills, but you have a bunch of assists. It's a very team-oriented game. There was one game I was playing ranked and we were frying the lobby, and I look up at the kill counter to try to check my KP or my kill points, and I had 1 kill and 10 assists with a bunch of knocks. And I was like, well, at least we're doing it as a team, so I didn't really mind too much. But it is a very team focused game. Tip number 5. This is probably one of the most important tips out of this whole list. Understanding movement. Movement in Apex is a huge mechanic, and it's very, very different from Warzone. Movement in Apex Legends depends on momentum a lot, and different legends can help you gain momentum faster. One of the most common movement legends that people love to pick, or people who just love to push and push too aggressively and get themselves killed, is Octane, mainly because his normal ability is to stick himself with a syringe, and now he's moving a lot faster, and then he throws his pad down and you can really soar across the map. And then there's also guys like Pathfinder. Pathfinder has a ability where he can shoot out a zip line and he can grapple onto something, and you can use that momentum to help him fly across the map. There's also other legends with different abilities to help improve movement, but those are the two that I've been seeing the most. So to improve your movement mechanics, or just improve with movement overall, watch as many YouTube videos as you can, study the pros, see what they do, understand how to slide around the map, and use momentum to your advantage. And once you watch all these ways and get all these tips, don't be afraid to go into the firing range to help practice that. Which leads me into my sixth tip, which is probably also arguably one of the most important tips out of this list, is the firing range. The firing range is literally the perfect way to get used to guns, get used to movement, get used to legends abilities, learn legends abilities. You can do everything you want in the firing range. You can turn on the bots in the firing range so that they actually shoot back at you, so that you have something to shoot against instead of just shooting at just still targets. The absolute best way to get used to a gun's recoil pattern, to learn how to control that gun, is to pick up the gun in the firing range and use it with 0 attachments. For example, for warm-up recently, what I do is I go into the firing range, I typically turn on the bots, I pick up the R99, pick up enough ammo for it, and I just start lasering the bots as we're moving around the firing range. Just shoot at the bots, get used to the recoil pattern, get used to what range you're comfortable with that, and have no attachments, so that when you go into a real game, whether it's pubs or ranked, and you pick up a R99 and you happen to have no attachments, which can be the case a lot of times, you are already comfortable with that gun with no attachments. So once you do find attachments like a barrel stabilizer, a stock, an extended mag, and maybe a good sight that you're comfortable with, it's going to be 3 times easier to control. You should be able to knock your opponents way quicker and with way more efficiency. All right, guys, so that's my basic 6 tips that I've learned while playing Apex in the past week and a half. I figured I'd share that with you. If you guys do like this video, like I said, please don't forget to like, subscribe. I highly appreciate it. We're going to be continuing with Apex content for the foreseeable future until something else catches my eye. We can make content based on that. I have a few ideas lined up for Apex in my head, so don't forget to hit that bell notification for the next week's video. More importantly, don't forget to follow me on Twitch so you can watch me climb the Apex Predator. It's been a fun time so far, and I'm grinding this game out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video.